Seeker, coordinated review, declaring intent, and to serve as lead agency for the comprehensive plan amendment and zoning text and map amendment and issuing a negative seeker declaration. Whereas the town has caused to prepare the 2021 Town of Milton, New York State Route 50 corridor enhancement study, and as to update the previous 2005 Route 50 transition plan to encourage development and redevelopment within the corridor and create a more walkable corridor and identify traffic improvements. And now therefore be it resolved that the town board, Town of Milton, does hereby declare the lead agency for the purpose of seeker, and after considering the criteria for determining its significance and set forth in 6 NYCRRR 617.7 subdivision E, the town board has determined upon recommendation from the town engineer that the proposed amendments will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and the issuance of negative declaration under seeker is warranted and approved. Further, the town board authorizes the town clerk to transmit this resolution and determination to other involved agencies and file all necessary paperwork in accordance with the application of the provisions of the law. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board, Town of Milton, motion for resolution number 76.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Isaacson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Supervisor Oster.
Yes. Next on the agenda, public hearing for the proposed comprehensive plan amendments, zoning code amendments, and map amendments for the Route 50 corridor to remain open until the town board meeting of December. Brenda, could you read the notice, please?
Please take notice that the town of Milton will be holding a public hearing for the purposes of amending the town comprehensive plan and adopting proposed zoning changes. The proposed changes can be found on the town website. The public hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, November 30th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. at Town Hall.
Thanks, Brenda. So before we open up the public hearing for anyone to speak, I'd like to welcome Jackie Hakes from MJ Engineering. She's spearheaded the Route 50 corridor study, and she would like to speak on behalf of the changes.
Thank you, Supervisor. Can everybody hear me okay?
Good.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for the opportunity to provide.
It's not on.
Green light means go. Thank you. That sounds good. Thank you for the opportunity to provide a little bit of background, not only to the town board members, but also to the members of the public that may be here for the public hearing. The town has prepared the 2021 New York State Route 50 corridor enhancement study. The purpose of that study was to update the 2005 corridor transition area study. And so that would talk about the comprehensive plan amendment and then the zoning amendments. The comprehensive plan amendment is necessary because your current comprehensive plan includes the 2005 corridor study as an appendix. Town law, section 272A, requires that any land use regulations, i.e. your zoning, must be in accordance with your comprehensive plan. So therefore, to implement those land use recommendations of the updated corridor study, your comprehensive plan needs to be amended with a replacement of that appendix. That's the only amendment being proposed to your comprehensive plan. The other benefit of doing that is that should the town wish to seek future funding opportunities to consider implementing the transportation improvements, having the document of the study as an appendix to your comprehensive plan provides further support for the town in seeking future funding opportunities. The other piece of it is the zoning amendment. So the zoning amendment before the board for consideration and subject to the public hearing this evening is a replacement of your current corridor transition zone, your CT zone, which is that zoning district along the frontage corridor of the Route 50 corridor, replacing that with a new district called the Corridor Mixed Use District. The intent of that new district is to allow for greater flexibility and more variety of uses along that corridor, to allow for future development and redevelopment along that corridor, and to provide enhanced aesthetics. The zoning amendments are all related to the replacement of your CT district with that proposed new corridor mixed-use district. There are a series of locations within your zoning ordinance where the changes need to happen. Everything from your definitions to your use table, your area and bulk table, and then there is an additional subsection that identifies design and maintenance standards specific to the new district, similar to what you may have in your town center district, for example. So that's the highlights of what is before the board for consideration. You've acted on seeker, so that is a procedural step that you have already taken. The public hearing is this evening. As the supervisor indicated, will remain open until December. At such a point, the town board will consider public input and identify any proposed modifications to the draft zoning amendments. I'm here to answer any questions if the board may have any this week.
Thanks, Jackie, appreciate it. Anyone from the audience like to speak in the public hearing? Mike?
Thank you and good evening. Mike Iacolucci, 9 Russell Street. The Village of Ballston Spa is in the process of revising its comprehensive plan, and I trust you all are aware of that. And I just want to urge you to consider integrating, coordinating with the village in terms of the Route 50 corridor changes. Secondly, I think some of you know I have no expertise whatsoever in real estate type issues, and I'm very ignorant of many things. I read through the zoning, proposed zoning changes, I read through the study. With respect to the study and transport, I'm in that camp that favors a roundabout at the intersection of North Line and 50. The study talks about a survey that was done online with, I believe, 120 responses to the survey. And I think the survey indicated that about 40% of those responses were from property owners in the corridor. So I'm just curious, was that most of the property owners, or were there a fair number of property owners who did not participate in the survey? And if they didn't, is that important to you to pursue and get further input? The changes proposed to me in a big picture sense make a lot of sense. I support the idea. As I read through the study, there's a 35-foot height cap on development. Does that sound correct? If not, please let us know, because that's what I came in with. And that height, to me, again, is great. Higher than that would begin to be a concern. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Anyone else like to speak on the public hearing? I need a motion to keep the public hearing open.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Isaacson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, a motion to refer in the comprehensive amendments, zoning code amendments, and map amendments to the planning board for review and recommendations.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Isaacson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Before we get into the actual board meeting, Jackie, if you want to, thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
If anyone else is here for the public hearing that would like to exit, they may do so now. I'll just give you a few minutes. Next on the agenda, I had the privilege at the county level for the deceased Veterans Award ceremony. I presented to the Hellman family on behalf of their dad, Corporal William Hellman, And at the town level, our historian Mike had reached out to me and wanted to do a presentation as well through the town. So at this time, our town historian will do a presentation to the Hellman family.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Mike Companion, town historian, and I see William has a lot of supporters here in the audience today. I think half of them was basically his family, I'm sorry. And I guess that says a lot about him. I mean, how much he's loved and appreciated. And we actually want to say something about him too. We appreciate his service for our country, what he's done for the town and for you guys as well. I'm just going to go through a brief little synopsis of your dad's grandfather's, I don't know if any great-grandchildren out there or not, yeah, those two. His service, all right? And in fact, I made up little plaques with some stuff on here. If you guys are interested, I can make more for you guys if you want to have something like this too, all right? But I'd like to basically read through a little bit about your dad's service so the town actually knows why your dad's being honored here today. First of all, William served in the European theater. He enlisted December 12th, 1942, so a year after the war started. And he would serve for 3 years, till after the end of the war. He actually went to Italy, where that was the earliest major war theater for the United States, was Italy. So he had gotten into early fighting. He started in Sicily, and he was working with as part of the 404th Engineering Combat Battalion, who took part in building bridges and roads and things like that to help move troops. They were often engaged in heavy combat. He experienced himself. He had friends who died or got wounded in the process, fighting from Sicily all the way up to Rome. Okay, eventually, William was able to make it through, and he was discharged on October 23rd, 1945, returned home, and as his family knows, he settled here in Milton. He opened up his own car repair business, raised a family, which again, we're present here today. And basically, we want to thank you guys for coming here and being part of us honoring your dad and grandfather for his service in World War II. So that's all I have to say. I don't know if you guys were given any medal like this by the county for your dad's service. I have 2. So if I could, I'd like to give you guys each a medal for your dad's service. It's basically Fairfield County World War II veterans. So I have another downstairs on the desk. I'll go down and get it in a few minutes. All right. Again, if I'd also like to offer you guys one of these if you'd like it. So just let me know that, and I can actually make some more. Okay. So if you guys would want to come up, like if Bob and Lloyd want to come up.
Mike, can we have the whole board come?
Oh yeah, we're going to take some pictures too, if you guys don't mind. Yeah, you guys can hold on to this. Did you get one like this already, Lloyd? No, so I'll get another one right to you guys, and I'll get you another medal too. Another medal downstairs. This is a county medal for World War II service. Okay, so I'll get you another downstairs on my desk, I just want to make sure. All right, okay, I'll make another one of these up. And if you want to give this to Lloyd, we can get you this one more easily, probably, right?
Either way.
Okay.
Here's 50 yards from my house.
Okay, all right.
Bob, can we just picture with the town board members?
What do you want, guys?
A picture with the town
All
board.
right. You're very nice,
Can you get everybody?
Smile.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good seeing you too.
Good job. Thanks, guys. Hellman family, if you want to exit before the actual board meeting gets started, you may do so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, Mike too. We'll put it on here. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Brian, next on the agenda, a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from October 26th of 2022.
So So moved.
Any discussion? Councilman Oxton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Before we get into the other motions, public comment for any of the agenda items. Anybody in the audience would like to speak on anything to do with any of the agenda items, you may do so now. Anyone like to speak? Hearing none, we'll move on. Motion to accept a special meeting minutes from November 2nd of 2022.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Oxton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, the motion to accept the special meeting minutes from November 9th of 2022.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Oxton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, a motion to accept a request from Rebecca Jarrier to buy out 37 hours of unused vacation leave.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Oxton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, a motion to establish a Sunday in the Park Car Show and Bike Show Committee to appoint the following: Rick Davis, Mark DeLong, Kevin Newbert, Shannon Pine, and Scott Ostrander as the chair. Tentative car show is going to be July 8th of 2023 in the park. July 8th, correct.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Oxton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next, a motion to allow Tammy Loya to set up a food drop in the parking lot of the community center for Adopt a Soldier on November 26th of 2022.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Oxton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next, a motion to approve William Lewis, Mark DeLong, and Fred Harris to attend the Adirondack Code Enforcement Officials Training between February 26th and March 2nd at a cost not to exceed $3,781.50. Letter, the building department submitting a request for training funds for 3 employees, William Lewis, Fred Harris, and Mark DeLong. The training will take place in Lake Placid from February 27th, 2023 until March 3rd of 2023, and will allow the participants to receive training requirements for 2023. The training funds are as follows: hotel accommodations are $1,500. Conference fee is $1,215. Per diem is $1,066.50. Total training costs not to exceed $3,781.50.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Oxton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next, a motion to approve Shannon Brooks and Denise Swatling to attend the 2023 Town and Village Clerks Continuing Education Program training hosted by the New York State Office of Justice Court Support on January 12th of 2023 at SUNY Schenectady Community College at a cost not to exceed $50.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Oxton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, resolution number 77 of 2022, resolution to set and establish reporting a list of certain employee titles and number of hours in a standard workday for each title and certain elected and appointed officials who are members of the New York State and local retirement system as required by law. Whereas pursuant to the regulations that took effect August 12th of 2009, Regulation 315.4, the town must establish standard workdays for elected and appointed officials by adopting a resolution that lists certain employee titles and the number of hours in a standard workday for each title, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board, town of Milton, regular session duty convened, does hereby establish the following as a standard workday for the attached listed elected officials and appointed officials, and will report the following day's work to the New York State Local Retirement System based on the record of activities maintained and submitted by the officials of the clerk of the board. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board, Town of Milton. Motion for resolution number 77.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Isaacson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
I'll abstain.
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, resolution number 78 of 2022. Resolution number 78 of 2022, resolution to accept the independent auditor's report for the fiscal year ending 2021 completed by BST and Company CPAs LLC, whereas the town of Milton is requested to have performed and provided annual audits for each fiscal year, and now therefore be it resolved, the town board hereby acknowledges receipt and accepts the independent auditor's report for the fiscal year ending 2021 completed by BST and Company CPA LLP. Motion for resolution 78.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Isaacson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next resolution number 79 of 2022, resolution to accept the building inventory and condition assessment drafted November of 2022, prepared by Delaware Engineering DPC, whereas part of a long-term financial planning, the town board and town of Milton has requested a building inventory and condition assessment report to be prepared as part for multi-phase capital planning initiative. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby acknowledges receipt and accepts the building inventory and condition assessment dated November 2022, prepared by Delaware Engineering DPC. Motion for resolution number 79.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Was this gonna be put online?
It is.
It is? It is
Mhm.
online.
Yeah, it's already online. Did we get it under town board, there's engineer report? Okay. You have to go to boards, under town board.
I
Um,
want to make sure for the public.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And I think also, I think people need to be made aware of this. This is not complete as of yet, so all the assessment on the buildings have not been completed. So I know there's been talk about how, the town board has decided that we're gonna relocate the highway garage. Once all the reports are done and it's provided to the board, then the public will be given all the information on this. So it's not completed as of yet 100%, but once everything's done, we will be transparent with the public on this.
Councilman Isaacson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, resolution number 80 of 2022, resolution to accept health insurance plan renewals for the period of February 1 of 2023 until January 31st of 2024, as prepared by Marshall and Sterling, whereas the town must renew the health insurance plan on a yearly basis, and the town comptroller of the town of Milton has recommended that after review of the town's current employee benefit package, which includes health insurance plans and the town's contributions to same, the current plan is renewed, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby acknowledges receipt and accepts the health insurance plan renewals for a period beginning February 1st of 2023 until January 31st of 2024, provided by Marshall and Sterling. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board, town of Milton. Motion for resolution number 80.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Isaacson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next resolution 81 of 2022, resolution authorizing the transfer of $200,000 of unrestricted and general fund balance to the open space reserve 2015, whereas the town board, town of Milton, desires the allocate the amount of $200,000 of the sale proceeds from the sale of owned property Real property recently transferred from the town to the Community Emergency Corps Incorporated, and the town is desirous to using those monies for park and playground improvements and other recreational purposes, including the acquisition of real property, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the town comptroller to transfer the amount of $200,000 from the unrestricted general fund balance to the open space reserve account and is set forth herein. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board, town of Milton, motion for resolution number 81.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Isakson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr?
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell?
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander?
Yes, next, resolution number 82 of 2022, resolution to approve the proposal submitted by Delaware Engineering DPC to complete a review of the water supply district and service areas, whereas the town building department, planning board, and facilities committee have all indicated and recommended that the town board consider reviewing the various water supply districts within the town, and now therefore be it resolved, the town board hereby awards to the appoints and hires Delaware Engineering DPC of 28 Madison Avenue, Extension, Albany, New York 12203 to conduct a basic review of the town's water supply districts and water service areas at a cost not to exceed the sum of $5,000 plus miscellaneous additional costs, if any, all is set forth on the attached proposal, and provide a report and recommendations regarding the same within the time period as agreed with the town supervisor, and further authorize town supervisor to execute all necessary and required documentation and pay all amounts due to become due regarding the same. Now therefore be resolved by the town board, town of Milton, motion for resolution number 82.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Isakson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr?
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell?
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander?
Yes. Next, department and committee reports, animal control. Animal control for the monthly report of October of 2022, total calls 109, bite cases 2, dangerous dog hearing 0, animal seized 2, tickets issued, unlicensed dog 2, running at large 8, nuisance dog 1, muzzled 0, which is a total of 11, respectfully submitted, David Drzezinski, animal control officer. Next, the buildings and grounds. Councilman Foolish is not here, I'll read this. Dear Supervisor Ostrander, town board members, during the month of October, the building department processed 18 building permits and collected $5,612.80 in permit fees. We've collected 168 construction inspections, 35 safety inspections, and responded to 11 code enforcement complaints, 2 being condemns. A total of 15 certificate occupancy, 39 certificates of compliance, and 54 being issued. The building department has also collected $5,612.80 in fees, respectfully submitted. William Lewis. There's no buildings and grounds report. Next, the comptroller's financial reporting package issued to the town board and made available for the public inspection on the website. Next is the highway department, which is also Councilman Froelich. I'll read. Contain hearings of letter dated from the highway department, November 18th of 2022. The highway department has been working diligently with their fall cleanup. They will continue to pick up leaves and yard debris. This has been placed curbside until the first major snowfall. We encourage residents to get their debris curbside as quickly as possible. Leaves and yard debris cannot be placed in the roadway as it creates both a safety issue and stormwater management violation. Leaves and debris cannot be placed curbside once a continuous weather pattern begins. Town residents can also bring their lawn debris to the transfer station located at 503 Guys Road. Transfer station hours on Monday through Thursday from 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The highway department has begun prepping their equipment for the upcoming winter season. A sand salt mixture will be available for the town residents as frequent as possible. The mixture can be taken in 5-gallon buckets or smaller containers, respectfully submitted to the Highway Department. Mike?
Sure. Yeah.
Story.
Okay, as far as activities for November, mostly focused on Historian's webpage, which I realized there was virtually nothing on it. When I started looking at stuff. I want to try to create a location where people can get information without having to call the town historian. Because a lot of the questions I get can actually be answered by just say, hey, go to the webpage, the historian, you can find the information, most of the information you're looking for there. I'm always getting requests about the history of different hamlets and things like that, so that gave me the idea of creating these different categories where you help my right-hand person over here, Amanda's Wada, who's been very essential to editing my work, because I often have some misspellings and things like that. The flow would be so great in that case, but Amanda's been very helpful with that, and also uploading information, making it pretty, so it's more, accessible and things like that for people. Basically, I broke it into 2 committees at this point. Historic Places and Structures Committee. We basically put the mission of the committee on there. We put the guidelines of the committee on there. The listing of the actual historic structures that are actually currently on the list, which are not available to the public, I don't believe, in any way, shape, or form. Past Heritage Award winners. We basically put that in there. Brief history of the early settlement of the town of Milton. Brief history for each hamlet in the town of Milton. I haven't done the cemeteries yet. That basically it's going to be links to the different cemetery websites for Saratoga County already. That'll be easy. And historic maps of the town. So basically, I'm down to the last 2 things right now, as far as making this webpage more accessible to the public for research and educational things. Also, my 250th committee, I call my 250th committee, the town's Revolutionary War Committee. I call it mine because it's my thing I'm doing right now. It's my most involved, engaged thing for me. We've been working on completing a Revolutionary War soldiers list in the town, verifying service records of people who are actually buried in our cemeteries, in the hopes of creating the signs for each cemetery. And we're basically putting that information on the webpage too. So anybody wants to research on Revolutionary War soldiers that died in the town or buried in the town, they can find that information. Also, we put the 12th Regiment for the town of Ballston. Actually, the 12th Regiment of Albany County Militia there, which is mostly the town of Ballston and Half Moon, on their webpage, including people of Milton, because back then Milton was part of Ballston. Okay. Eventually, I'm actually going to update all the resources we have available in the town. There's a lot of books downstairs, which I'm not sure if people are aware of, which I'm going to actually make an inventory of too and put those on the website as well. So again, basically it's all focused on getting the public access to information they're looking for more easily, for me and for them to actually find it. So that's about it. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. Next, Justice Court, Bud.
Charges from 10/1 to 10/31. Fines collected $2,522. Surcharges $2,802. Civil fees $278.30 for a total of $5,602.30.
Thanks, Bart. Planning and zoning report, Ryan.
Yep, so there was a zoning board meeting on October the 27th. There was a public hearing held for 115 Circle C for an area variance, a side setback request for a garage, which the area variance passed. And then there was a discussion around the Prime Group Holdings aircraft hangar. There's an area variance request. So if you go up, I guess it's considered Upper Greenfield Avenue into the airport, it would be just to your left, next to where the existing hangar is. So there was a presentation that was presented to the board, and then those that were in attendance. The discussion on that continued into the November 17th zoning board meeting, and a public hearing has been set for that area variance at their December 29th meeting. The planning board met on November the 9th. They also discussed the proposed aircraft hangar. There were some concerns shared from the operator of the existing hangar to the left. No further action taken at this point. And then the last item that was discussed for zoning board on November 17th was for 337 LaRue Road, where there was an area variance discussion for a proposal for an additional home to be built on an existing property. No action taken at this time. And that's all.
Thank you, There's no report on the receiver of taxes. Lisa may come back next month. Okay. Next, town clerk.
So for the month of October, we had 11 marriages, 11 certified marriage certificates, 47 certified death certificates, 14 FOIL in search of records, 154 dog licensing, 34 online dog licensing, 48 hunting and fishing, 2 pavilion and/or community center rentals. Town share was $3,720.03.
Thank you, Brenda. Next, public comment on town business. John Owen.
Oh, one question. On item 14 on the agenda, the proposal to do a review of the water supply districts. What is the purpose and what are we trying to ascertain on that?
Well, we have a lot of districts that are not on file with the town that we need to create water districts for. In the past, there was a little water district, water supplies, like the village would supply somebody, and we didn't form a water district, so we're trying to incorporate all those districts into one. So we're playing catch up from the past is what we're doing, trying to get all our water districts into one district. Because if there's a problem and we have a breakage and the town owns the pipes and everything, we need to know where everything is. Anyone else? Michelle Judy.
Hi, Michelle Judah, 34 Van Tassel Lane. I was working up in Canton, New York today, at Rhinebeck Park. Got behind some slow-moving trucks on the way back and was actually worried that I would miss the meeting because of how quick and expedient they are. I arrived at 6:45. You had already, done your pledge, your roll call, a resolution, a public hearing, a motion, and a presentation by the town historian in 15 minutes. I understand there was one public comment on the Route 50 corridor study. I saw that there was one public comment at the public budget hearing. I'm really, truly concerned about the lack of engagement that is happening in the town of Milton. And I'm particularly concerned that I feel that the board encourages that. One meeting a month is not sufficient. If you end up missing a meeting because you have personal business, something you have to take care of, you're 2 months behind at best. There's a lot of important things that happen that we really need to be hearing about. With all due respect, I can read. I presume probably everybody in this audience can read. We may have some residents who cannot read, and there could be accommodations for them, but you spend most of the meeting reading us reports that are online. I can read them ahead of the meeting. I don't need you to read them to me. What we need is some presentations. We need to go back to having some summaries of what we're talking about. What is the Route 50 corridor study? Let's hear about that. When I looked at it online, I think that we're talking about a report that was done September of 2021. Let's hear about that. How about letting the residents know what this survey is all about in terms of the building, the town center? What do we want to do? We're asking people questions without giving them any background as to why we're talking about it, what you might be talking about in terms of housing, what you might be talking about in terms of business. An early version of the agenda had, and I'm sorry, I don't remember Mr. Olenek position, I think it's Director of Development on there. We haven't heard from him. He'll stand up and talk as a member of the public, but quite honestly, we're paying him in the neighborhood of $3,000 a month to do that position. I assume that position has something to do with the survey that some residents know about, some do not know about. We're not hearing about those things. It's very concerning. We talk about transparency, we talk about wanting to engage all of the constituents, but the actions that I see aren't supportive of that. It's 2022, the meeting should be posted online by the town. We shouldn't be relying on the partner of a council person to put them on a Facebook page when she's able to do it because she's a volunteer. They should be available so that the residents can know what's happening. And we need more information from you. No one had a comment about the audited financial statements because I have to tell you, for the third time, 2019, 20, and now 21, there's an adverse opinion from the auditor that says that the financial statements can actually not be relied upon because the town is not properly accounting for the capital assets, which is the largest amount of assets that we have. You take the assets, you subtract the liabilities, that's where you get the financial position of the town. If we are not depreciating capital assets, if we are not inventorying them, if we're not fairly valuing them, there is a risk that we're not actually in the black. There's a risk that the town is not as financially stable as you would like us to know. And I find it absolutely abhorrible that there's no statements about that. The reports are online under the controllers. They're not listed with the documents for this meeting. So most members of the public who go and look for it are going to look under, the agendas, the documents. You're hiding them. You're making them difficult for the public to see. And it's not becoming. It really is not becoming. Please, please, start doing what you've said that you were going to do. Be transparent, engage the public, let us know what's going on. I learn more about the conversations that the supervisor's having by listening to the meetings in the village of Ballston Spa. Because the mayor there talks about the meetings that he's having with Supervisor Ostrander. I am not in any way suggesting that we should carry on like the village of Ballston Spa is. That is not the way to run a meeting. But we need to have more information. And I'm begging you, please, to please start doing what you said that you were going to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comments now closed. Board discussion on any new business. Anyone? Any old business? Hearing none, we will have no executive session this evening. A motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion? Councilman Isakson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr?
Yes.
Councilman Blaisdell?
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander?
Yes, next board meeting will be December 28th.